Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the TrafficTroupe podcast. I am Cab Livery, like a limo. And my superpower is I maintain all of the knowledge and skills of anyone who's ever ridden inside of me. And that and I inherit all those things and become all powerful.
Gross.
And this is my buddy Blaze.
I'm a Pisces.
And this is my buddy Johnny D.
Buck nuts are not okay. You should never have them unless you're born with them. You can't add them on. Weird.
I love truck nuts. I think truck nuts are one of those things where the person is doing you they're doing a huge favor to the world by really showcasing like a very specific part of them.
Wait, did you always love truck nuts, or did you just absorb your appreciation of truck nuts because somebody who loved truck nuts was inside of you so often?
I've always loved truck nuts. I just think
All right,
it's one of those things.
that's fine.
There's a few things that exist that really show you the type of person, not to broadly stereotype, but there are a few things like when someone owns multiple snakes, right? They're instantly showing you like this very specific niche type of person they are.
Well, I would say that if somebody just has a pair of truck nuts, it's as you say. But if somebody has like a lot of pairs of truck nuts on one vehicle, that's hilarious.
I mean that
That's
person's
okay.
probably doing it ironically.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. That's okay. In fact, that's encouraged.
I think
Should
anybody that wants nuts should be allowed them. Men, women, trucks,
sure. I
spot
mean,
Hey
bike,
man,
they should definitely
housing,
continue to be legal.
chairs.
Yeah,
Fair nuts.
I vote in favor of truck nuts. And nuts do a really good job of making people pregnant.
They do.
You know how reproduction works. And what we need to talk
And if
about.
you don't, welcome to our hour-long series, How Babies Are Made.
Yeah, that's what this episode's about. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for all your reproduction information. And something we talk about behind the scenes, and I'll let the audience in on this, is I, for some reason, get flack for thinking that pregnant women are beautiful. Both of my co-hosts think that pregnant women are ugly.
No, that's not true.
It's not true. This is
I
lies.
mean, the type
You
of
are.
flack I get for my choices and my
There is a
attractions.
pregnancy glow.
There's a difference between what Johnny's saying, the pregnancy glow or and like a beautiful shirt in a kind way, but then there's like sexy. I'm pretty sure you find them sexy.
All right, so I find pregnant women
Are
sexy.
they mutually exclusive?
No, but I think that they're
I'm just
different
saying
things.
the looks and the backlash I get for saying that pregnant women are sexy as hell is I it's pushing me that they think the opposite.
So I definitely used to work with this guy who uh was talking with this other girl that worked there. She was single but pregnant, and they like hung around each other like a lot, and then as soon as she had the baby, they were dating.
This sounds like a National Geographic thing.
What like
Or like more like Animal Planet, like when they described the mating, like she was pregnant, and upon giving birth, then the mate will solidify his commitment to the offspring, or something like that.
It wasn't
true?
his baby though.
Oh, I know, but that happens a lot in nature, where like something thinks it is like those birds that put their eggs in another bird's nest and things like that.
No, I actually, I
Birds
mean, I
are
get
fucked.
exactly what you're saying. You're like, and even though the baby isn't his, he's joined into the family afterwards, and they form a new group. And I can't do the
Well, no, there's
Attenborough
like
accent, but
there's like animals. This is really weird, but there's animals that like it's like as an evolutionary thing. Lots of males will mate with the same female, so they don't know who the actual father is, so that they all protect the baby, kind of thing.
yeah,
Maybe
it's
that's
called
what's going on with Blaze's
uh,
coworker.
that's
See,
my favorite category.
Except there's only one person.
instead,
It's called
oh,
cream
sorry, go
pie
ahead.
orgy.
I was gonna say humans instead. We just go on Maury.
Well, that's yeah. Well, that's when you have to find out who the baby daddy is.
Well, yeah, well, in the animal
Well,
kingdom,
actually, this is a real
they
issue.
don't
Didn't
have
Mori
a
end?
they
How are
don't
we gonna
have a
do this now?
Maury out in the
Well, wait,
jungle.
no. Didn't Mori retire? How are we gonna do this now?
I'm sure there's somebody else that replaced him.
I
I don't know.
mean,
I feel like a lot of that trash, those kind of trash talk shows. Is that still a thing? Jerry
that was
Springer's
kind
gotta
of.
be a thing
Well,
still,
no, like
right?
that was one of the last ones. I mean, like there was a bunch like Sally Jesse Raphael and Ricky Lake and all the like. A lot of those are like from like the '90s and 2000s. A lot of those are
Yeah,
gone.
but I think a lot of those also didn't really necessarily start out trashy. I think that they all just gradually
That's
became
true.
trashy because they realized that they got
That's
better
gotta be
ratings.
true.
Yeah,
Well, like, and
once you
Maury
go
had
trashy.
like Maury was like 80% paternity test, but there was also like fat babies, and like there was always a time where like those like out of control kids like whatever, I do what I want, and then like that guy in the military uniform comes and yells at the kid, and like that happens sometimes, and that was wholesome.
Yeah, talking about stuff that doesn't age well. I remember the thing that they did like, is this really a woman or not? Like, and they would have
Yeah, and it was always
people
people
come
from like
out.
high schools, like, oh, like someone from your past wants to come, and they'd blindfold the guy, and then like the sexy lady would come out. It's like, surprise, I'm the nerd you bullied. Now I'm sexy. That was the thing they did a lot.
True, and that's a true redemption arc.
Yeah,
That's
well, good for you. Good for
yeah.
them.
I think all that stuff is definitely going to be the last thing that remains on television, right? Like the reason reality shows get made so often is because they're really cheap to produce, and obviously those sort of daytime talk shows and court shows fall in the same category. So like part of me wants to say, oh yeah, everything's moving online, but like there's no YouTube channel that's gonna take over the mantle of being the Maury show, right? Like I think that will live forever on some form of old media until
Well,
it
another thing.
literally like unless the infrastructure collapses.
Well, consider this too. Back like in the 1990s and the 2000s, and all that, there was when they'd have these shows. The topic was like out of control teens, or or things like here's an episode all about goth people or people that worship the devil and stuff like this. All these what used to be shocking is because you couldn't just look at these kind of people whenever you want, or if you were interested in them, whatever. You had to wait for some talk show to put them on, have an episode about the Church of Satan, or I'm 14 and do cocaine, or things like that. Nowadays, if you want to watch this, you can just go on YouTube. These people advertise, as YouTube used to say, broadcast yourself, and they do. And you can just go on and watch this whenever you want. You don't have to wait for someone to spoon feed you some controversial topic. It's just all around now, so nothing's really that controversial anymore. It's just the way we can have access to what used to be kind of fringe communities or issues is changed. So we don't really need that anymore.
That's actually so true. I surprisingly have never thought of that angle of it. That's wild. But that is the case.
It is.
Whoa, mind freak. But I think there's still a certain age demo that still doesn't understand the internet. Like I think there will be a point where those things fade off, but people still love Steve Harvey and still love Steve
The
Wilkos and all the
sitcom,
other Steves.
the
Huh?
sitcom is an endearing thing. Like it evolves with the times pretty well, and I think that another reason why things can syndicate so well, and why you have, you know, there's like some sitcoms that just never go away. Roseanne, Full House, The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, things that people still like decades after they've gone, is because they capture a time period of when they are so well. Most sitcoms are always written to take place in the current time of when they're being broadcast, and they serve as sort of a time capsule of the culture. You could see different products on the shelf. It's like, oh, that looks so 90s, that looks so 80s. You see the way people dress. And I think that as time goes by, people start to value these things for reasons other than just the story that they told upon their first broadcast. So there's always going to be, like, a need for the sitcom. People like that. And no matter what's going on in societies, you can always have a sitcom that kind of talks about these things or finds the humor in them. And I think that that's why that genre has endeared as long as it has.
I mean, I think people view like reality shows kind of that way. I think reality shows will probably continue to be a thing.
Absolutely. Because like Kev said, they're just so cheap to produce. You can go to anywhere in the world and just start filming the same group of people for, a couple hours, and there it is.
True. I mean, I love. I just think cheap TV will just always last for some reason. I don't know why. It's just such an easy return on investment.
I think television has kind of become what a certain demographic that isn't able to do this as easily with the internet, what older people turn to when they don't know what they want to watch. The idea of flipping channels and landing on something and watching something is still something that is mainly TV's domain versus scrolling on the cell phone. If you're watching, like, TikTok or YouTube Shorts, just one after another, and if you find something you like, you're gonna watch it but it's only a couple, seconds or something, a couple minutes at most, and you're on the next one. It's not that you're gonna keep flipping channels till you find something and then watch for 30, 40, 60 minutes.
Basically, all we like to do now is flip through channels. It's strictly flipping through channels.
Correct, but then there's
Yeah, that's exactly
400,000 channels or whatever,
But there hasn't been. It isn't the flipping with the idea, with the intent of finding something and staying. You just continually flip. There's nothing to stay on because it ends so quickly now.
Correct.
And that's the key difference.
Yes, and it is interesting. I was having this conversation actually recently with a passenger in my taxi, and it was about kind of this old media versus new media thing, where it was about the music industry, because this person was related to the music industry, and I shared a story about how I had a coworker once who was like sort of a one-hit wonder R&B singer that ended up just working as a server at an Italian restaurant at the same restaurant as me. They were on Oprah. They were they toured around the country, and then in a couple years they were a server again, right? And it was about how now you don't need any sort of that. You don't need to be discovered. You don't need to have nepotism to get into the industry. You have complete freedom to put everything out there. Maybe like a podcast of 3 vehicles talking. But
You are still being
You're
discovered.
competing with everyone in the world,
You are still being discovered. It's just a different. It's before it was a selective discovery where like it was controlled by media outlets or
Correct.
like people
Well,
in
there
the
was-
entertainment business, and now it's controlled by actual viewers instead.
Well, there was a sort of a natural filter to it as well. If something was going to be, start from the bottom down. Maybe you're playing local clubs or bars or whatever, and you have your mixtape, you get a CD, you get or a cassette or something, and you got to find somebody kind of at least in the fringe of the industry to play. Somebody knows somebody who can play it on the radio, and then some people hear it and some picks up. It gets to a bigger and bigger, and until it gets this big break, so to speak. You kind of if you had to have the cross section of knowing how to make it move up to get more audience, and also be good enough that someone actually likes it and wants to help push it forward if they can. But now you can just upload it yourself, YouTube or SoundCloud or any of these, and start pushing it out yourself. Put it on, any sort of your social media, and you can still do it, in the real world, for lack of a better term. But it's interesting. It's in some ways it's easier, in some ways harder. It's just different now.
Correct. What I think is, and I'm no expert on this, but you notice this now with the adult industry, right? I think that's something that, you know, not that I have direct knowledge on, but like the music industry, like I don't really understand it. I know you can put a song on SoundCloud and try to self promote and all this stuff, but as someone that spends a lot of time on Twitch and sort of sees like that sort of reach into it, I think I can more comment on it from like the adult standpoint. Yeah, like people using Twitch to promote their OnlyFans, and then their OnlyFans gets big enough that they get reached out to from porn companies, which are, or like producers, which is sort of still an old school thing, but OnlyFans is such a big industry. Like Amaranth. Here, hold on. Let me see if this is gonna be our first test, guys. Let me see if this works. Everyone, cross your fingers. I'm waiting for this ad to be over. Y'all excited about this new Nicolas Cage movie where he's a vampire?
I kind of am actually. I've only ever in my life seen like, and I shit you not, and we don't have any fans, and we won't after anybody hears me say this, but up until recently, I had never seen any movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
What?
Yeah,
How?
and it was like, and the movie I saw, I can't even remember, but it wasn't a movie starring Nicolas Cage. He just happened to be in this movie that I watched, and I'm like, oh, this is the first movie I've ever seen with Nicolas Cage in it.
I'm like legitimately shocked.
Yeah, I'm even shocked, but I would say that I would see that new one, Renfield or something like that. It's called. I think that's it looks just kind of crazy. Or I would have watched the one where he plays himself. That kind of looked funny too.
Yeah. Well, here, let's so this is Amaranth, but she's sitting down in the towel. She's not actually doing anything right now. Hold on. Let's go look at the whole category.
Is she ever?
I mean, oh, so this is a good one.
Okay, this is Seal. That's kind of cool.
Wait, a seal?
Yeah, she isn't doing anything.
So, yeah, I didn't really know anything about I say I didn't really know anything. I still don't really know anything.
I had no idea this person existed until seeing this video, and
So I don't understand the appeal of it, other than
neither do I. That's weird.
if you want to see something, it's strange. I mean, I guess maybe there's more. Maybe this is like the equivalent. I don't know. I'm probably still. This is still probably a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm wondering, is this now the new equivalent of like softcore porn? And that's probably it's a bit of an exaggeration. I understand, like it's not literally porn, but it's like it feels porn adjacent.
Yes, that's just what I was gonna say.
Because most of them are promoting like an OnlyFans. So
and here's
it is a less provoking image, yes.
And my problem
whether or not it does a good job at that, I don't know.
My problem with that is that it seems like it's like, even though the channel and her channel says, like 18 plus or whatever, I think that Twitch generally, why did Twitch get popular? People streaming games. That's what blew Twitch up. And I think like children oftentimes are attracted to, watch that type of thing. So when I see somebody who is in the adult industry using Twitch to kind of like gain fans, it almost feels like they're kind of selling sex to underage people.
Yeah, so looking for an appropriate demographic.
Yeah, which I find to be disturbing.
That's
Disagree.
kinda gross.
What's that?
I
Yeah, shut
disagree.
up.
I mean,
You disagree?
oh yeah, big
Well,
time.
what's your take then?
I think that that people can sort of do whatever they want. Like I totally understand the argument, but then it's sort of an argument on, well, what, to be on Twitch, you have to be above 13, right?
Well, here's this too. Why would you want to go to a demographic that has no money?
I don't think they're going for it. That's what I'm saying. That was kind of
Well,
that
no,
was going to be
I'm
part of
talking
my
off of
argument.
Blaze's thing. He says if he's going for like that young of a demographic, well, that's if you're trying to make money, that's a weird demographic to go after because most of them don't have any money. They don't have a credit card or anything.
Correct. And
That's
I
weird.
don't think that's the point.
I mean, it's weird anyway, but
I don't think that's what they're aiming for. So you have to be 13 to have an account. So is 13 too young to advertise and talk to porn about? 1,000%, right? There definitely is an
conversation's
argument.
getting really weird.
Sorry?
Conversation's getting really weird.
What's weird about that?
No, go on.
I said that's not okay.
I
right?
know. I agree. Yes, correct.
I think it'd be weird to say it is okay.
That would be even weirder. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
go
correct.
ahead.
All right. So I
Glad we
think
agree.
that would be obviously inappropriate, right? But then we get into an argument about what's inappropriate for different ages, right? Like on Twitch, everyone swears, right? So is swearing inappropriate for a 13-year-old, right? I would
think-
say, like, if my 13-year-old came up and said, "Fuck you, Dad," like, you'd be grounded or whatever, right? Like, I don't want them learning anything really adult at that age, right? I don't think these people are targeting young people and whatever. Also, again, people take their kids to Hooters. People take their kids to Dallas.
I always thought that was strange.
People take their kids
Sure.
to Dallas Cowboys football games, right? Like, there's inappropriate sexualized stuff everywhere that's considered family friendly, which is interesting. But I don't think that's their target. I think their target is people who want specialized. They want to, like, occasionally one of their messages to be read, sort of like a campsite. But maybe these people don't want to be on the campsite because they're sort of self-hating. Maybe they think that it's tacky and immoral and degenerate to be certain places online, but if they're doing it on Twitch, they lie to themselves that it's different or something. That would be my assumption about why people watch that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't know. I much about like what else she's doing. Like if she's got like an OnlyFans and it's
She
like
is. I think she is the #1 OnlyFans creator.
Okay, and is it like basically pornographic content?
So
or-
she did not show nudity for about 3-4 years, or however long it's been. She just started nudity 2 months ago.
Yeah, did her numbers go down and she needs something to get more interest again?
No, at the moment she did nudity, she was the #1 person. Hers is also a very specific case where it got revealed that her husband that she kept secret through
Secret
force.
husband?
Through
Now
force.
that's a Maury topic.
So her husband forced her to do adult content and keep him secret to utilize her as a cash cow to make them a bunch of money.
That's kind of like when like Japanese idols aren't allowed to have a boyfriend because then the people will think that they don't have a chance with her
Yes.
because they don't because she got a boyfriend.
It's
So
exactly
that's
like
a
that.
secret boyfriend. Yes.
So basically, what you said is
Her husband, like,
essentially
pimped her out.
her husband. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Was it pimp?
Verbatim that her husband pimped her out.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Since
so
that's
sick.
come out, she's continued to do the content, right? So there's definitely a part of it that was her choice as well. I'm sure he just pushed it over the limit, right? She was probably fine with the non-nude stuff, and it was probably his idea, most likely, to transition into nudity to make more money. That would be my guess, right? I don't know these people, right?
Just imagine how that conversation went though. Just like, hey, honey, had an idea. Gotta pay off these credit cards or whatever. You, but naked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the conversation would be really different than that. It would be
No,
lots of
exactly like that.
it would be lots of fake crying. It would be lots of gaslighting and lots of manipulation.
Oh, I mean, maybe maybe it was just that easy, and she was like, I was thinking the very same thing. And
No.
so glad we found each other. We agree on everything.
Yeah,
I think that
I
would be a
mean,
better marriage.
I think some people do agree on that kind of stuff, right? I
They
think it's fine to
should.
have an OnlyFans, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, they should agree. That would be ideal.
yeah. But yeah, so again, that whole section, the whole section of Twitch that is sort of, essentially the non-nude cam site part of it. I think it just captures a certain audience. I think a very small percentage of it is young people who it's their first time being exposed to this, and that's why they're not on adult sites. But I think a vast majority is people that want attention from them and think that in this sort of smaller venue, they'll stand out more.
I don't know. I mean, you say smaller venue, but like, what's smaller in compared to what?
Like you can't just like DM Riley Reid and say hello, but you can say hello to Amaranth, and she might say hello to you.
Sure, but that's like drastically different. Like
No, I again,
people who are
I think
mainstream
these,
porn stars aren't like the core people who do like adult streaming content.
sure. I think it's people that
They're just literally like they are they're an amaranth. Like they're just it's like some random. It's basically essentially the same thing as like whatever. And I would say
sure. I'm just
most
trying
are
to
probably not at the level of like internet celebrity, but maybe a few are. But yeah,
Sure.
it's not. Yeah,
I'm just trying to speculate because I also
you would
don't
probably
understand
have.
it. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say that you'd probably have a better time on an actual adult site finding people to not acknowledge you and stuff than you would somebody who's like porn adjacent on Twitch. Because I feel like
I agree.
I don't know. She was live recently with like over 8,000 views. That's a lot of people to try to get acknowledgement from somebody when you have 8,000 viewers.
I agree. I think. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why people like the Paul brothers. Like, why does Jake Paul have an audience, right? Why do people
I
listen?
wonder that too. What's the appeal there?
Why do people listen to U2? That band sucks dick. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just speculating why. I'm assuming it's a lot of people that are lying to themselves and saying they're people that think that like porn is shameful or something, and so by doing this, it's their shortcut. It's like they're Mormon soaking, right?
Yeah, I could see that, I guess.
I think that's probably my best guess. Um, you know. And it's yeah, they just recognize it's more socially acceptable. I mean, they'd probably still all look like degenerates if you pulled up their chat logs or whatever, right? Like whatever they're saying, like I'm typing this message with one hand, winky face, or whatever they're typing. You know what I mean? Like they think that they're being non creepy because it's on like a normal site that people just use or whatever. But
Yeah, somehow that makes it creepier, to be honest.
I do agree with that.
Yes, exactly.
And also,
I'm with Blaze on this.
I'm not using the word creepy to describe porn in general. I'm describing most likely how these people interact with it.
Why are there comments on porn sites?
I don't know.
Why are there share? Like, oh,
I
share
think
this to
share
Facebook.
actually makes sense.
Why not comments? You comment on any other sort of video. Why not be able to comment on? I think
well-
comments. Here's the thing. Actually, I could go on a whole spiel about this.
Please do.
I'm upset. Speaking of comments on porn, back in the day, you'd find some really interesting, funny, whatever type of comments on, let's say like Pornhub as an example. Nowadays, it's just all spam. It's all random accounts saying like, "Follow me at this shady link" and this and that. It's like there's no discourse. I want discourse when I finish watching that video. Sometimes in the middle of the video, maybe I get bored, and I scroll down and I look at those comments. I want real discourse. All right, I don't want spam. I don't want bots. I don't want people saying, "Oh, come to my page." like my videos instead of this one you're watching or whatever. Like, no, I want discourse. Now,
How dare they?
if you don't stop me, I'll go on to another rage also related to porn sites.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And that actually is, this is actually an evolution. The evolution of the porn site ad. Now we all know like ads. Every website you go on these days has some type of ads.
I don't know. You Origin Blocker told me that there's no ads ever. You block Origin. Shout out.
I'm more of an ad block.
But
Plus,
watch our ads.
guy myself.
Watch the ads
Okay.
of the podcast. And so watch the episode and then download uBlock Origin.
Yeah, but there's always the weirdest ads you've ever seen in your life on porn sites. Like they either don't make sense or they're just like, who is this for? But my favorite one is the one that I get that I can understand like it from like it being very like clickbaity, where it's like, oh, hot single girls in your area. That's like almost like a cliche at this point that you always see that, right?
Yeah.
Does
But I've
anybody
noticed
ever click that? And if yes, do they ever actually find anybody? I remember one time I want to see if it actually did anything, and it was like, do you agree to keep things anonymous? Yes, no. I clicked no. I answered the wrong thing for everything, and it still asks for whatever.
that's
So
awesome.
I'm gonna
That's
tell
awesome.
everybody at the PTO meeting what I saw here tonight.
But these ads I've noticed have gone through an evolution because I think, like you just said, like, you're like, who clicks on that? Like it. Uh, other than Johnny, who clicks on these, right?
Maybe instead of sexy singles in your area, it should just list sexy people, single or not, and you could just be like, oh, that's a sexy person in my town. Cool.
Hell yeah. Ashley Madison 2.0.
Yeah,
So
remember that website?
they wanted to make them. I think people they realized that not enough people are clicking on these. So how do we give you the same type of bullshit spammy ad, but get more people to click on it? Like, okay, let's try getting like more specific. So like hot milfs in your area. Maybe now that it's more specifics, people will
I'm
be like,
clicking
oh
on
yeah,
that one.
I specifically want like hot girls. Like, well, who's gonna believe that? Hot milfs, like, huh? That's a little more specific. This could be real.
Yeah, because how would they know that they're pregnant? Like the MILF would have to register. Like, hey, pregnant. Am I hot enough to be on your site? Sure.
And then they realized that even that, not enough people clicking. So they just gave up. This is the ad that I saw when I realized they gave up. Ugly girls in your area.
One of those weird
Need a
like
fuck.
flash games. Who's doing with that?
You actually got an ad that said ugly girls in your area.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Like grannies in your area. Like,
Well, no. What if somebody is ugly and wants to shoot their shot with someone who they have a better chance with? That's good because
exactly.
honestly, that's the demographic that needs help. Sexy people don't need help finding other sexy people.
Yeah, and
No,
that's why it was
that's true.
genius.
Yes,
The
correct. I
the
agree.
evolution was genius. It 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 took them a while to get there, but they
Single and
got there.
desperate in your area. Click here.
Yeah, I bet you the numbers are up. Is all I'm saying.
That's actually, yeah, that's
Hmm.
genius. That's wow.
See, somebody's thinking.
That's crazy. Because as a motor vehicle, it's always hard to get women because you gotta find someone. You guys know you have to find someone with the exact kink, and it's like I sympathize for all those water sports people, for all those even feet people at this point. It seems to be against people's whatever. It's like now I gotta find someone that wants to suck the tailpipe. You know what I mean?
Go diesel, man. I'm telling you.
It's a difficult one, but yeah, Yeah, I've never.
Who doesn't like doing tailpipe stuff?
It's gotta be tight. Literally. Am I right?
Yeah, they do say that tailpipe is always tighter. All right, we've killed that joke. It was dead.
You got it easy. I mean, Blaze and I need someone with a CDL for us.
Yeah, you need to know someone who really knows how to ride. I'm a basic operation vehicle. You guys need someone that knows how to work it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Honk,
Yeah,
honk.
we're not like you. We don't just let anybody in our vehicle.
Yeah, I let anyone in the
We just
back.
pull up, see whoever comes in.
Yo, if you're paying,
That's why you're absorbing knowledge and like STDs and things like from random people.
yep. If you're paying, you get to use me. And
You missed the two. If you're paying you're playing. If you're paying, I'm playing.
Ooh,
hell yeah, that's
gross.
what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, it's so interesting because you're talking about like ads or whatever. I don't really get ads on anything except for Twitch is like so good. They must have a whole department that's like, the not hackers. I know it's like a kind of a not cringy word to use, but like whatever. The hackers develop a thing like an ad block, and then Twitch is always the site that jumps on it instantly. They're so good at it. My ad block, whenever I keep it updated, it blocks every other site.
Even YouTube?
Yeah. I haven't watched a YouTube ad in
Really?
5 years.
I gotta check it. Mine, whatever I use, the YouTube
It sneaks by too.
gets through.
Yeah, you block Origin. There's only a few. It's so funny that you say this or that we talk about this because the only sites that get by are Twitch, and then like one specific porn site gets by, and that makes sense. I think they make so much money on ads, obviously, that they probably have full departments that are, ad block.
Right.
I have to use the restroom really quick, not to derail the whole show. But y'all can talk about something. I'll be back in like 20 seconds. I just thought it'd be polite to say.
Who is
Everyone close your.
clicking-
I will stay on screen while I'm going to the bathroom. So sorry, you guys, for having to watch it.
All right, here comes the tailpipe.
All right. Premium is now free.
The
So
quite an impressive piece, I think. A lot larger than I would have expected.
shiny too,
Yeah.
considering
Yeah, I wonder if that's a real noisy one.
print screen. So who is clicking on these weird porn games on websites? Like, oh, this game will make you come in a millisecond.
Yeah, I'm always when I see that, I'm kind of like I don't actually know if I specifically think who's clicking on it, but I think
Who
why?
makes it?
Who makes the game and why would anybody want to come in a millisecond?
See, well, this thing is like this is so infinitely interesting because when you really start to peel back the layers, you realize there's this whole weird part of internet society that it's questions with no answers. And that's true. Who would? Not
Yeah.
I.
It's very bizarre. Almost as bizarre as this tailpipe we've been looking at this whole time.
Magnificent. You gotta register that thing with the state or what?
Oh yeah.
Is that
Deadly weapon.
You pass emissions tests with that thing?
Dang, man. Are you revved up or are you just happy to see me? Am I right?
Vroom, vroom.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting like too hard right now. I'm getting too chubbed up from all this tailpipe talk. So if we could transition to does anyone have anything wholesome to say?
Yeah, I mean, let's.
Well, how about this is a good transition. How about things that are fun size but actually aren't? So, Why is
I
it
like
that?
it. I like that's what I was looking for. Like a yin yang transition right there. Go ahead.
No, that's a real issue. So where, especially like Easter is gone, and before that, like Halloween and Valentine's Day, all these little candy holidays, you get the random candies that come in quote unquote fun size, and they're in big bags that cost way more, and you get less. What is fun about having less of something? And you don't tell me like, oh, it comes in different flavors that you aren't always there, because you could just as easily put the strawberry Kit Kat into a regular size bar and sell it all year round. It would be just as good.
Yeah,
So
I
fun
think
size is a misnomer.
it's a marketing, right? It's you know that it's less fun, it's less candy, but they wanted to have like smaller. I guess I mean, it is mostly for. I do think about it as like like you're saying, like holidays or whatever,
Yeah,
Halloween and like any other holidays, whatever. Maybe like Christmas, they do stock. You put stuff in stocking. I think it shouldn't. It's not really fun size. It's like convenience size. It's that size simply for convenience. But
what it really is portion control size, because you can put it in a kid's lunch so they don't eat the whole bar and things like that. However, if you see an adult with a bag of these things, they never just eat one and then stop. They always eat the like normal size equivalent just by unwrapping a bunch of little ones. Nobody
yeah,
eats one of these things
or maybe
ever.
even more.
Yeah,
People might
correct. I'm
end up
done.
eating more. It's kind of like with when you
Yes,
get those like slices of pizza that are cut into little squares. You
yes,
probably end up
correct.
eating more pizza because you're like, oh, I'll just have one more slice. It's small, like one more slice, one
Or
more slice, one more slice, and then the whole fucking pizza's gone.
how about similarly with like Easter candy, Peeps? I like food when there's food that comes in unusual portions, and instead of like in the back was like how much is the serving size, like one cup or one carton, one box. The peep that says serving size is like one chick, and like what if you measured everything in terms of chicks? Like how many chicks is that? How many chicks of pizza did you eat?
I I
I
like
just
that
think that's
idea.
funny. That's a great idea. But anyway,
Speaking of portion control
yes,
though, so
fun size box.
I used to live by this grocery store, and I've never seen this sold like this at any other grocery store. It was just this little tiny like I would say mom and pop shop, but I think they might have had 2 or 3 locations, but it was like not a major chain. Um, and they sold half loaves of bread, and
Yes,
it was
that's
like,
a
this is
common thing.
genius. I've
Hmm.
never seen it anywhere at
Walmart has
any
that.
other stores. It's genius because I don't I'm one person. I'm not
Yes,
eating
I
a
do that
whole
too.
loaf
I
of
buy that.
bread. It's insane. Every time I buy bread, some of it always gets thrown out.
Hmm.
And I think that there should be uh like the grocery store. I'm gonna go on a rant. The grocery store is not single living. Like they don't cater to anybody who lives by themselves, basically, because the portions of everything, it's just too much. I want like 4 slices of cheese when I go to the grocery store. I don't want like 20. I'm never gonna eat it all. It's gonna
Yes.
get bad. And
Really got
that's
to plan how to use that cheese, correct?
it's like that with a lot of things that because I've been trying to like buy food more. But then I always get away from it because it's just like I just throw out so much crap that what's the point? I might as well just eat out every day. At
I
least
will buy
at least I feel like food's not getting wasted.
I will buy the half loaf of bread, or if the kind I want is not available, I will buy the full loaf, take half, and freeze it, and then I will have another half loaf later. That's what I.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I do that with some things. There's uh, speaking of like bread adjacent or whatever, there's these like pretzel buns or pretzel
Yeah,
rolls
those are
that
good.
you can get. Yeah, but they just like I open them and they're just immediately moldy. Like the next day, it'll be a pack of 4. I open one, eat it one day, the next day there's mold on them. And I'm like, how is this possible? I mean, loaf bread isn't that bad, I guess, because it's probably chock full of preservatives and crap like that. But like loaf bread actually takes a while to grow full on
True.
mold. Like it'll be stale before you get
And
actual
if you
mold
keep it
on
in
it.
the fridge, it'll last even longer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm not a strong proponent of fridge bread.
yeah. When growing up, my mom would always do freezer bread and not thaw it. Like
Oh no, you gotta thaw it.
make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out of frozen bread and give
No,
it to me.
that's
And
weird.
I said, "Mom, this is child abuse." And she did
Correct.
not care. Also, wait, real quick, is the half loaf of bread is it just a smaller loaf that still has two butt ends, or is one
I
end?
think there is. I want to say it's a smaller loaf. I think
Yeah,
there
it
still
is
is
just
two
smaller
butts.
loaf.
So
Yes,
there's
Yeah.
correct.
so there's two butts or one butt?
There's still two
First of all, it's
butts.
called the heel, not the butt.
It's called the butt.
It's not
What?
the butt. No, it's
The
not. It's called
heel?
the heel. The
Heel
heel.
makes more sense, but I would call it a butt.
The heel.
You
It's
have
the
two
heel.
heels.
That's the heel. The heel of the bread. That little weird part at the end.
I
That's the heel.
I
So-
doubt that that's
Here's the thing, though.
functionally
If,
correct.
I've never heard anybody call that thing the butt of the bread. What
so
the hell's wrong with you?
if it's both of us said it's butt, so
What the
what's
hell's
wrong with you?
No.
Yeah, well, how is it a
Class.
heel?
How's it a butt?
Because it's sexy?
To say that it's a heel
Well, some people might
implies,
say heels are sexy, and we're back to this again.
Oh.
it implies that the bread has feet, and I've never seen a bread with feet.
It's not bread with ass either.
Yeah, which
Although
slices
some ass
the foot?
looks like bread,
Which
but no
slices
bread
the
looks
foot?
like ass.
It looks more like an ass than a heel. Let's be real.
Oh, whatever. It got two heels or no?
It does. It has two end.
Oh, that's
pieces.
lame. If it only had one heel, I'd buy it. I want it to be a real half loaf. I don't want them to mismarket it to me. Also, fun size is fun, and I don't understand.
No. You know what? And here's why fun size isn't fun. One, because it's not fun. And two, because fun size is just renaming mini. And mini is not fun. Mini cupcakes, mini chips, mini cookies. Mini is
Minnie
only...
Mouse.
Minnie Mouse sucks. Mini is only used
Whoa,
when you
hold
either...
on, Chris. We can talk shit about you
Wait a minute.
two on this, but we can't talk shit about
Look,
Minnie Mouse. We don't
Minnie-
want to get
nobody
Disney
ever
against
brings-
us.
Nobody ever brings mini things by choice. Mini is what you have when you either cannot afford the full version or cannot accommodate the full version. We can't afford to get the big one, so we can't afford big cupcakes for everybody, so we get mini cupcakes for everybody. We don't have enough room for, big ones, so we get mini one. Mini is always what you're forced to have. Mini
No.
is never preferable.
Okay.
Disagree. Hard disagree, especially with
no.
cupcakes. I don't want a full cupcake really ever.
Same.
A mini cupcake is great. It's
Why would you not
great
want if you like something? Why would you not want more of it?
because I believe I'm a man of moderation. Okay.
That's why you're having a cupcake instead of a full regular cake.
I don't know. Is there one of
All
the
right,
coolest?
you're right. You're right.
One of
I
the
could
coolest
just eat a full
restaurants I've ever
cake.
been to was called something. I forget. But it was called like the Mini Bar or like Minnie's Cafe. I forget what it was called. But everything there was miniature. It was adorable. There was mini salt shakers. Their specialty was they had butterscotch shakes, and they were like these mini shakes and mini fries and little mini burgers and
Well,
little
then you're
mini...
going for more for the experience. That's different.
It was fun.
Yeah, because everything's mini. I was thinking something you never have because everything is small. That's like the kick there. But it's not like you're going to, like, potluck or whatever, and everybody's bringing mini things. It's always like, I don't want it. You're not these people I'm eating with. You're not worth a full cupcake.
I treat my whole
worth
life like
mini.
a potluck.
And how often do you buy mini?
Every chance I get. I
No.
just think, like,
You're
I
wrong.
understand it's marketing, but I do think that fun can have multiple meanings. And I think the cuteness and the sharingness and the whatever does equal the word fun. That's my only thing. Because what? Well, pull it to the exact...
Wouldn't it be more fun?
No,
Wait a
no,
minute.
no. Think of it, pull it towards the opposite extreme. If you had something that was like 7-pound Snickers, and you called that the fun-sized Snickers, it would make sense if it was marketed right. Like if it was in all caps with like 7 exclamation points, and it was called like fun size. Like I think that the meaning would also
Well,
apply.
yeah, because when was the last time anyone gave you like a 7-foot Snickers? And when was the last time anyone's been
How
in the
your
room
dad
with a
last
7-foot?
night?
Now back to the tailpipe thing. So when have you ever been in a room with when there's been
Oh,
some room
tailpipe.
with a 7-foot Snickers and anyone's been upset? My life is so much worse because I'm in the room with this massive candy bar.
No.
However, if someone is like, "Oh, I want a candy bar," and you give them the fun size, they're like, "Oh, that's it."
But I'm saying that would also be fun. Like that's
Have you
the
ever-
It
argument.
would be
I'm
more
making.
fun. That would be truly fun because, like, oh my God, there's this massive candy bar as
But
opposed to,
isn't it
oh,
fun to be a widow
mm,
cutie?
Have you
no,
ever
it
honestly
sucks.
tried to eat a full-sized Butterfinger?
Yes,
Nobody wants that.
That sounds
it's
gross.
By the
delicious.
time you by the time I get like at most 2/3 of the way done, I'm so over Butterfinger. Like I
That
hate
is a
it.
you
I
problem.
start to question everything. Like I say, do I even like Butterfinger? I thought I liked this, but I am.
I
One
have never had
one
that
third of a
problem.
Butterfinger left, and I think that this candy might be disgusting.
No, that's a you
Butterfinger's a
problem.
bad choice because Butterfingers suck.
What?
But fun size, it's
God, you're all
just
weird.
enough. It's just enough to you don't get to the point where you're like, is this gross? You're
It's
like,
fun.
huh, that could be good.
Oh,
We'll just have to agree to disagree.
yeah. I mean, I think my argument doesn't hold a lot of water because basically what I'm arguing is that everything's fun, right? I recognize.
Well, it's
what
not
you're all saying.
miserable. No one is ever upset or their day is ruined by having a small candy bar in the room, but it would be better with even more.
What would it be called?
It's just like a neutral.
Would you prefer it to be called mini size? Like, are you upset at how
No,
they're
I
trying
think
to market it as
well,
being
it is
cool?
misleading because you're not going to have more fun with less candy. Just call it small or compact.
You want them
Compact Kit Kat.
on the packaging to say compact size.
At that rate, we're gonna say convenience size. Might as well go all out.
It's convenient, yes, because you can
Convenience
keep
size.
it in your pocket or something. Convenience is a better word than compact.
No, they should call
Compact implies convenient.
They should call it microscopic size.
But that's not true. It's not microscopic. It's just convenient.
So let's bring this all the way around and let's go to the opposite, right? How about family size? How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about that branding? Family size.
Family size is actually more normal size, like the Kraft macaroni and cheese. The family size is like accurate. That can feed like a family of 4 because the regular box cannot do that comfortably.
But what if you don't have a family? And don't you think it alienates people that don't have families? What
No,
if they
because
want
it's the
family
size. Not at all, because it's the size that could feed a family. So if you want that much macaroni and cheese, you know exactly what to buy. It doesn't matter if you're going to use it for a family. It's family size, not family feed. It's not you can use it on anything.
Oh,
It's informative.
I did notice one time, and this made me laugh, that there's at least one thing that you can't market as family size, but is the same, like it's a bigger pack of stuff.
Condoms.
Condoms, 100%, yes.
Boom.
Condoms are not. I remember buying a value pack. That's what they call them, value pack, which is families. I don't know what that means. It just
How
sounds
about a
like it's
variety
cheaper.
pack?
But yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, oh yeah, I guess they can't call this family
Yeah.
size because
So-
I wouldn't.
in front of me,
No, the whole family uses them. That's cool.
I have a big thing of Pringles, and they call it the party stack. Okay, I have barbecue Pringles, which are the best Pringles. Don't at me. And it's party stack. I like that.
Yeah, that's
because
really good because
when I ate these alone in my apartment, it felt like a party.
yeah,
So the other exhibit B, I have a bag of caramel M&Ms, and they are labeled sharing size.
yes.
I dislike that because when I ate them alone in my apartment all by myself, I wasn't sharing and it felt shameful.
Okay, two things.
So I like party stack.
Party.
And I dislike when it says sharing size.
All right, two things. Party is a great word because, as you had experienced, eating them alone is like having a party. However, you could also bring them to a party and everything would go just fine.
Yes.
Sharing size I feel sharing is good, size is not. It's not so much about the size or the amount of candy, but rather the packaging that's contained in. The packaging is you can like unzip the top and kind of make it like a little bowl so that it's easy to share, as opposed to the traditional packaging you just rip off and then put a few in your hand. That's difficult to share without passing it around. The sharing size makes it very easy to communally share your caramel M&Ms. So it's really more about it should be sharing package rather than sharing size, even if there are more, because more people will
I
be
do like that
eating
because
them.
you're saying they called it sharing because it's the resealable one with the flat bottom.
Yeah.
I think
Flat bottom, just like the bread.
I just usually use a bowl. I think I would never leave a sharing size package out at a function.
All right,
Yeah, that
we
looks
all know
easy.
you're classy, man. You're classy. We
Yeah,
got it. You
that's
got
what
Yeah.
bowls. We know.
After the previous thing I said, super classy. And I mean,
If you can ever convince anybody to actually physically be in your presence, we understand that you pull out the bowls.
oh, I get them. I'm a bowl. I'm a bowl guy. Or a bong guy sometimes, am I right? High five, high five. You guys
Okay.
excited for 420 coming up?
Yes.
No blazes.
Blaze is very excited. Blaze 420. I don't think I actually have anything.
I mean, I don't have anything planned, but I know what I will be doing.
Because I was gonna go see a band, but the tickets are very expensive. And last time I checked, they were sold out. But that's just through first party retailers. I'm sure there's third party tickets available, but then that means they're even more expensive.
So I'm trying to decide actually this weekend if I'm going, because I'm going to the movies, to this new movie theater that's kind of like a you eat and like they serve you food and
Oh,
you watch the
tight.
movie.
I've
Yeah,
been to those.
it's one of those places with cocktails and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's one that opened not too far from me, and recently, and I'm trying to decide what movie to go see. Either this Super Mario Bros.
Super
movie
Mario, yes.
or Air.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard Air is really good. I kind of want to see the Scream movie, but Air is supposedly very good. My family was talking about it at Easter.
I do know if I watch the Super Mario Bros. First, I have to rewatch the original.
I like the original. I do.
I want to say that at one point, me and Johnny watched the original together
We
as
did.
children.
We did.
Was that your house? Is that where I
Yes.
watched it?
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! Back in our baby garage when we were babies.
Yes, I know. We didn't even licensed yet.
Oh my gosh! Unlicensed, unregistered. We were unregistered vehicles all the way back then.
Johnny was just a couple of gears
Yeah.
threaded together.
Not yet.
Yes. Back
It
in
was
the
better
day.
time.
Gap was just a sign.
Yeah, I was
One
just
single
a singular
light.
sign. I was just one little hubcap. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, that was a. I have no memory of it except for the Koopas
Yes.
or Goombas. Which one?
They were both of them were in there. The Koopas looked like just like dinosaurs, lizard kind of thing, and the Goombas were these kind of
The henchmen guys.
big teethy. Yeah, they had the
Yeah, they're
trench coats.
very-
Yeah, the
very
Goombas. I
disturbing.
remember the Goombas.
I have that on
Those were
DVD. That
creepy.
movie.
That's the thing is I have an unopened, ready to watch copy on DVD.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah?
that movie wasn't. It's like become like a thing. It's like cool to hate it, but it wasn't that bad. I don't think. I mean, at the time there was only like 5 or 6 games out, so they worked with what they had. There weren't all these different characters. There wasn't all these, you know, deep lore, backstory. I mean, they only had a handful of these things, most of which were on the NES. It was all still the same basic, story of Bowser captured Princess Toadstool. There wasn't much to go on. I think they expanded it pretty good, and they had a bunch of references to all the different enemies in the game. Big Bertha and Bullet Bills, the Bombs. Some of the Koopalings got name dropped in there. For what they had to work with at the time, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I just know my favorite part, or the only part I like, the only piece of dialogue I remember from the entire movie is when they're going, I don't know, into some area, and the guy asks them their name, and
Yeah, Mario, Luigi, Mario.
Yeah, Mario, and this is my brother Luigi Mario.
I thought it was interesting they made how they depicted Toad. He was kind of like the rebel with the
Yeah,
harmonica.
that was weird. That
And
Toad was weird.
but
I don't
Toad
know
had
how
no
I felt about that.
personality at the time. Like, what else were they gonna do with him? How are we gonna? How come no one ever talks about the fact that Bowser's wife stabs Yoshi?
I
Like,
don't
no
even
one ever
remember
mentions
that.
this.
I
Yes,
don't even
Wow,
remember that.
spoiler alert.
Princess, because like Bowser has a wife for some reason. I think her name was Lena, and she and Yoshi helps Princess Daisy, which is weird they use Princess Daisy instead of Princess Toadstool, but okay, because she's from Mario Land and that had just come out. So Yoshi is Bowser's pet in this movie. He doesn't talk; he just kind of makes little lizard sounds, and he helps um, Princess Daisy escape. And when
Damn,
Bowser's
you
wife
really
goes
watched
into
this
the
movie.
I've watched this movie plenty of times. Then when Bowser's wife goes in to check on Princess Daisy and finds that she is gone, Yoshi is still there, and she realizes that Yoshi helped Princess Daisy escape. So Bowser's wife stabs Yoshi, and then Princess finds him later and pulls the knife out of Yoshi. I'm surprised no one ever talks about this scene, but Bowser's wife stabs Yoshi.
I'm not surprised because nobody really talks about the movie.
Yeah, but
Like
I
I
don't think most
knew.
people who've ever seen it. I mean, it's like 30 years old at this point. Yeah, there's Goomba.
Wait, this is alright. So hold on.
That's the Goomba.
That's the Goomba. And this
Toad
is
gets turned into a Goomba. There's lots
Wait.
of Goombas, but Toad gets turned into a Goomba, and that's Yoshi.
That's Yoshi.
Because this movie
It's a
came out
dinosaur.
right. This movie came out right when Super Mario World came out. And there's Princess Daisy talking to Yoshi.
Aww. They're best friends.
Yeah, it's so. I just remember. I don't like. I remember just seeing it probably like it came on TV or something when I was younger, and just being like, "This is so weird."
And that movie is the earliest instance of Luigi being romantically involved with Daisy, which is strange, but it's true.
I've never met anybody in my life. Like I said, like most people I've like. I feel like a lot of people have never seen it, or at least in our age group, maybe just because it's.
Yeah, it's true. And nobody really watches it. It's just like it's a cool thing
Yeah.
to hate, and it's so bad. But if you watch it, in the
But I
context
don't
of
even
when it was
think
made, it's not
I
that
don't
bad.
even think people hate it. I think it's like so under the radar that people don't even hate it. I think more people would probably not know about it unless they were maybe people like I guess people
Well,
our age or maybe people a little bit older than us, but I feel like we were
the
pretty young
Mario,
when it came out, so
all that like Mario stuff, especially like in America from the early 90s and late 80s, is very strange. It was, kind of before like the internet kind of made the world a smaller place. They had like whole different canon and all different stuff. They had those old Mario cartoons that were produced by Deke, and there was a whole bunch
oh
of stuff
yeah,
that I mean I remember watching those as a kid,
I
and
do. Yeah, the
and
cartoon I definitely watched.
there was a whole bunch of kind of weird stuff like that. There were games that were only like released, like Mario was Missing, where he plays Luigi trying to
Oh,
find Mario.
what a weird game.
There was a bunch of those in Mario's Time Machine. I mean, there was a bunch of them.
I remember renting that game as a kid and being like,
I remember
this is
renting
the
it.
worst game I've
You know
ever
what though?
played."
The soundtrack for that slaps. It really does. It takes because in Super Mario World, most of the tracks are just kind of a remix version of the normal theme, and in in Mario is Missing, it takes that same theme and kind of retools it for whatever city Luigi is in, and it's not bad. Listen to the music; it's pretty good. I like the slow kind of cool, smooth jazz of New York City.
The worst Mario soundtrack has to be the one like the one that came out like on the Wii U, where every song is like ba ba ba, like there's always
Ba
just like
ba.
bas
I
ba
was kind of out of it by that
Well,
point.
you know why it was the worst. The worst Mario game was the one where the soundtrack was made by U2. Wii U 2. Okay,
it's
everyone, that's the episode. Thank you for listening to the podcast, episode 2. It only goes up from here. If you're thinking to yourself, these first 2 episodes were trash. They're going to get only better from here. Blaze, you have any closing words?
Tune in next time for a slightly less trash episode.
Johnny D, you got something to say?
Bigger is better. Avoid fun size.
Yep, and that's it. Go ahead and as soon as you're done watching this, go tune into Amaranth. Give her some
Yeah, don't
money.
do that.
Tell her I say hi, and we'll see you guys next time.